Welcome back to the Healthy Business Podcast. I'm Ty King with American Business Engine, and always with me
is Jessica Dolliver with GAM Collaborative.
Now, her voice may not be recognizable, but that is definitely Jessica. Not played by the part of Lena this time.
Yes.
Right. Also joined, if you're watching a video, you'll notice that there's a third body between us. And you are Shelby.
Yes, Shelby Joiner with Shelby & Company Incorporated.
There it is. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Jessica was dying before we started recording.
No, I'm
Shelby's
fantastic.
very comfortable because she doesn't like being close to people. I feel that very much. But we're in a new year, so Happy New Year. I don't know if we're still saying that. It's the 6th of the month. Do you still say that? How long are we going with that?
I mean, at least till February.
Yeah, at least until something else to say.
It's the whole month of January.
Until Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. All right, we're officially in 2023.
And then you get like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And you had to pick a holiday every month.
Okay, and focus on it and move forward.
Just own it. Happy
Jessica.
Flag Day.
I don't know. Did you say that you use Spotify?
I do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
So did you get your Wrapped for the year?
Oh, gosh.
I've been sick.
You don't have to be
you
anywhere.
don't have to
You can be at home. You
It
can be on
will
the
email
toilet.
you.
You can still get your Wraps no matter where you're at.
I don't even know what a wrap is. I am not cool.
Oh my gosh, I will talk to you about my wrap.
There you go.
I told you my wrap. The number one was the Wiggles hot potato because my lovely 2-year-old.
Jesus,
This
yes.
is the second year in a row that they got number one on my Spotify. So it's almost to the point they should pay me to play at this point. Yeah.
So did they tell you what your number one, like what you listen to
Yeah,
most
like
of?
what we listen
Yeah.
to the most.
Uh-huh.
Yes, like what the music.
So mine would be
was, the genre.
instrumental jazz for sleeping.
Yes.
Mine was cat sounds because of my daughter. It's connected to her Alexa. That's what she goes to sleep to. It's like
Cat
music.
sounds.
Well, see, that's the
so-
Wiggles for me. It's
Okay.
Yeah,
sleeping
exactly. I felt that
music.
when you said that. I was like, yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, cat sounds. That's quite
funny.
interesting. I wonder what that sounds like.
The reason I bring it up is because, Spotify also owns Anchor, which is where we distribute the podcast.
Yep.
I didn't know. This is the first year I think that they've done it because they just bought it last year. There's a Wrapped for your podcast, too.
Oh.
How exciting.
Yeah. So this is ours for Healthy Business. I don't know, and like audio listeners is going to be terrible. In 2022, you did your thing, and people loved it. And you sort of go forward, and it gives you a little slideshow. Some bright colors to keep you fascinated with the
So when
screen
you're
while it
edit, you
loads
should
everything.
like video that
All
and
right.
stick it in the corner.
Yeah, total. So like, we recorded 1,248 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, over last year. Yeah, not too bad. More than 93% of other creators in the business category.
Oh,
That's a huge.
we're overachievers.
Overachievers, yes.
What else do we do?
I don't know. It keeps telling
very
me
slow.
we did our thing and people loved it.
Like,
Like we need some time fillers to just keep people on this.
Oh, I think
page
I'm supposed to
over
go
and over
up and
again.
not over. Yeah, there we go.
that's all it's telling you. You did a lot.
You did a lot. Here you go. You can't hear us, but we're clapping right now. You can hear them clap. That's an audible clap. Can you guess your number one story that we recorded?
That one where you were Ty get some things off his chest.
I thought that was going to be the one, but it wasn't.
Was it?
No. So your choices here are scary stories, the haunting parts of business. That was our Halloween episode that we did. And mentors who inspired you in business. Which one do you think people listen to more?
Halloween.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So, which is surprising because I thought that was one of our lamest episodes. Because I was just basically reading off a Forbes article, and then we were just like commenting on it.
I mean, that's what we do. We like look at
Yeah.
live and comment on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So either someone else's life or our own.
So
But-
95% more streams than your average episode on that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
All 7 people liked
So
it.
that means in October you need to do all scary stories the entire
For
month
sure.
of October.
Or just
yeah.
spring them
Or
up
just-
throughout the year.
let's
We
just-
love
yeah.
Halloween anyway. We got our
Yeah.
boo and beware
I
cups
see
over
this.
here.
Yes,
you know what I
I
mean?
see that.
Podcast loves to travel. It just does the bright colors just to keep us focused. You
I
know
mean,
what I mean? And this,
So the podcast is
attention.
us
Yeah.
watching your phone.
Yes.
This is awesome.
This is good, right?
This is riveting podcasting.
It really is.
I mean, not only are we watching
Yeah,
I'll
it,
we're
show the
like for
graphics
20.
whenever. I already took screenshots of some of this stuff. So your top country was the United States, and
that's
yeah,
obvious.
of course, yeah, that's obviously who we're going to be talking to. What do they like exactly? Listeners, what do you like? Not what do you like, but what are you like? Calculating listener personalities. And it said, yeah, I know. Your listener's podcast personality is the adventurer.
Interesting.
Take that as you will, because there's not really a breakdown of like what that even means.
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of a random.
But you can share those in your story and everything. Yeah, that's kind of, they're adventurers. It's like, okay.
Well, I mean, I guess all
Well-
business owners are adventurers.
Yeah, I mean, an entrepreneur
to me,
has
it sounds
to be.
like people that were just like skipping through different podcasts and trying to know how. You know what I mean?
They're like,
It just
we're
happened
just
to go
gonna
through ours.
travel through the podcast
Yeah, right.
here. Here we go.
No, it's funny because I take it differently. I'm thinking someone's out there hiking, listening to podcasts.
Okay.
Oh,
there you
maybe.
go. That's a nice way to
Maybe.
take that. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring that up and talk about it on
Cool.
the podcast. And
Yeah.
So we put out the social channels and everything for the pod. Anyway, Shelby, we're here to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's up?
So tell us a little bit about you and
Yeah.
like what do you do and.
Okay, cool. So I am a mom and a business owner,
Okay.
and I've done marketing for over 10 years now. So I own a full service marketing agency and a sign shop as well. So that's kind of how we met. We met in I think B&I maybe or something. No, I brought you to B&I. We met somehow else, and I've done like her signs and stuff a lot. And then she also has done her wonderful massage services on me, which has been really great. So.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, but I work all the time. That's me, workaholic, you know, funsies.
Okay.
Yeah. And for fun, I hang out with my daughter. Yeah, so.
That's fine. So that's also your other job.
That's also my other full-time job as
Yeah.
of like 2 years ago. Yeah.
So you enjoy both your jobs.
I
then?
enjoy them both
Oh,
very
good. You're living
equally.
life the best way. Then.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
am.
true.
Yes. And prior to that, it was like just work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings up an interesting topic, actually. Going from a full-time type A, own your business, Mark II personality, driven business owner, to mom. Let's talk a little bit about that, how that transition worked for you.
Yeah, so the first part never goes away. I'm still type A, very hustle, like business owner. But then you have like this little human that comes into your life that's like, I'm gonna kind of disrupt everything you had planned. So it was like a really big transition for me, especially she's a COVID baby, so she was like born January of 2021. So it was
Awful
like,
term.
I know it is, right?
Yeah.
But that is what it is. They even call her that at the
They're gonna
daycare.
grow up as
They're like
these
these COVID babies. I'm like, well, it is what it is. There's a ton of them, just so
Yeah.
you know, like
I
waiting
know,
lists
I've
out.
heard it before. I was like,
Yeah.
cringe when I hear it.
So crazy. But anyways, yeah, so the transition was pretty tough. It was just a lot of growth and making sure my team was in place before I had her. But then also we were going through the transition of COVID year, you know, 2020 when I was pregnant and all that, and trying to shift my business and figure new things out. So it's definitely not been an easy thing. And I feel like I semi have it together-ish now. She goes to school full time. That was something I was almost against, but I'm very glad that I went ahead and put her into school because that they do their calling and I'm going to do my calling, and that's work, and then she's learning a lot more than what I could teach her.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
What do you feel like your biggest challenge was in trying to find that balance between being a new mom? Because first of all, being a new mom, a new parent, you've been, you know, it's just tough. Like you have a life that does not include a small little person that
Right,
requires
yeah.
your attention to having one. So what do you feel like your biggest challenge, if you could give the listeners a good idea, if they're trepidatious or are coming up on that first child in a business, as a business owner, what
I would definitely like plan out as much as possible. Now you can't always plan when you have a kid, right? So if you find out, hey, I'm gonna have a child, this is her due date or his due date, I would definitely just like as a business owner plan out as much as possible, and then don't feel guilty for taking time off. Even as a dad, a mom and a dad, like don't feel guilty for taking time off of your business to focus on that very first part, because it's so special in those little moments. People, they don't like the sleepless nights, but really those were kind of the easiest days, because now we're at 2 and it's like there's like worse times now where I wish I could just put her to sleep and put her on the floor and go to work. Those are the newborn stage, they say, is the hardest. It's really not. It's like the most more attention, but also it's the more special moments, and you just don't want to miss those. And honestly, I feel like I kind of rushed through that because I was just so ready to get back to work. And so if I had to go back, I definitely would just take more time off, making sure that my team, was there and they knew exactly what was going on, and I would let them have control versus me trying to stay control over both areas in my life.
So being a control freak,
Mhm.
one-to-one,
Mhm.
this isn't
Yeah.
a judgment.
No, absolutely.
So how did you deal with that challenge, as far as you have to let go because, well, you'll be in the hospital.
Right.
So you're going to have let your team
Yeah.
and give them some control over things that maybe that you hadn't when you were actively in the business.
I still struggle with that. I've been doing this 10 years now and still am super control freak. So I'm learning. I have a coach. He's amazing. So he's kind of helped me through all of that transition. But I don't really have a really great answer to that because I have struggled with it for a while. So I'm just now kind of to where I'm like, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this, and just trying to get it all worked out. But I'm not a micromanager. I just would rather do it myself kind of person. So, but yeah, that I don't really have a clear answer for that because I'm still figuring that one out.
I think that's part of it. We're always all just figuring it out.
Yes, exactly. So it's been fun.
I know, being a parent, especially what you were talking about, COVID and working from home, it was impossible for me to bill by the hour.
Yes.
Because people ask you, what's your hourly rate? It's like,
worst.
when you have a kid, I'm going to tell you, I cannot work a straight hour because I'm getting interrupted all the time, by anything and everything.
You're going to spend 30 minutes just checking in and out of your timer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some difficulties that come with all of that. Were you raised in Arkansas, or are you an immigrant?
I'm an immigrant. No, I was raised in Sling County, so I graduated from Benton High School, and then I moved to Little Rock about 5 years ago, and I love it up here. But
nice.
Yeah, from down there, it's like so far away.
From Benton?
Yeah, from Benton.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, you'll come see me, and they're like, that's like a 40-minute drive.
Jeez.
I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. You know what? I will come see you. You're right. Yeah, it's too far to drive, but it's been really fun being in Little Rock. So
Good.
Small town girl-ish, kind of.
Yeah.
Small town girl-ish.
It's the town of Arkansas.
Yeah.
It is the town of Arkansas.
Yes.
See, I learned to drive when I was in California, and I spent several years out there. So 40 minutes is the grocery store.
Exactly. Yes. If you can't jog to the grocery store, people think you're in a big town. But it's been fun.
That's true. Yeah.
So one of the things that we talk about is the fact that marketing is an issue in Arkansas. We're a little bit behind the times. People have a hard time sharing information. So talk a little bit about what the struggles are in your business for marketing.
Well, you can probably relate to a lot of this.
We're
Ty.
asking you. We want your expert
No, I
opinion,
know. Yeah. I was just saying.
Ty talks enough about himself on the show a lot, and Jessica has to redirect me sometimes. Here I go again.
Okay, so what's the struggles with marketing? Okay, so in my business, I deal a lot with small business owners specifically. It's where my passion is, helping them. I struggle, I wouldn't say it's marketing related, I struggle with people that do not want to spend money to market. Mm-hmm. So they want to have the marketing out there, they want me to help them with social media, but they never like the price tag of it because they always think they can get it for cheaper. And so it's that's aggravating to me. I don't know if it's just a Southern thing, if it's a small business thing or what, because I try to stay very aware of not doing that to other people. But that's really the most struggle I have in the marketing industry is that people don't understand you have to spend money to get services so that way you can focus on what you actually do for your business. And so I can take care of all the other stuff for you. So that's probably the worst part. And trying to tell them that, let me do me, and then you do you, and then this is going to take this off your plate, and you're going to be able to make more money. It's really hard to get that concept through people, especially the older generation that's just used to doing everything for themselves, So.
Oh, and used to they just get a yellow page ad every year.
Right, and I was in marketing. When I started marketing, we did yellow page ads. So I've been there before Facebook business pages even existed. I was on the cusp of all of the creative whenever they created that. And so trying to explain to people that, yes, I had the experience of what you used to do, and then now I can do what we need to do for you. And then I would say the second biggest struggle is, people think that when you put one social media post out there, you're going to make $1 million off of it. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just that's not possible. That's not how this works. And so I had an interview with a new client last week, and he said, I'm just really wanting to hire you to build my brand on Facebook, but I know it's not going to bring me any money. I just want the validation. I'm like, oh my God, can I please put you in a bowl and just serve you to all my other clients? Because it's just this is not, he understood the concept, but a lot of people don't understand that it's literally just the backbone of your brand, everything you put on the internet. So. Just educating and making sure that they understand they have to spend money.
Yeah, for sure. And you say, it's brand awareness more than anything. It's
exactly.
making people aware that you exist.
Yes.
This is what you have, and then you're the first person that pops in their mind whenever they have that problem.
Exactly.
But like you said, there's so many people that are just well, Everybody's got to have a website, so let's just do a website. And I expect to make my first $1 million in it for
At least.
next month. You know,
Yeah.
why am I not generating the traffic I need to? And it's just like,
Right,
are you
yes,
serious? You just started.
yes.
These people have been around for years and years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so aggravating when people are like, well, I Googled myself and I was on like the 5th page. Okay, well, you just started your business like a week
Yes.
ago. We just put your Facebook pages out there like yesterday.
Right.
And your website's not even like optimized because the proofing stage isn't done yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? I mean, how can I explain this more to you without, you don't want to come across as like condescending, but then also you want to be like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, listen to
Right.
me. I'm the expert here.
Right.
You came to me for a reason. But if you can figure it out, by all means, please figure it out.
Yeah, why are you hiring me? Just to yell at me?
Exactly. Sometimes I feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and you're fired. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love firing clients. It's pretty great.
So at what point, as a recommendation to a small business who's just getting started, at what point in their, they're going to go with their free website or they're going to go to the Facebook page. They're going to do a lot of that themselves usually. A smaller business is going to start there. At what point should they start looking at farming that out, about seeking someone like you or Ty to help them with that?
So I've noticed just over the course of my business, I've helped people from the very beginning and they don't really quite have a budget for it unless they've like super planned for their business. Some people plan way ahead.
Yeah.
Some people quit their job yesterday, started business tomorrow. Those are not really the type of people that are prepared financially to hire somebody. So I would say, as early as possible as you can do it, but really most of my clients have been in business at least 3 to 5 years and more because they understand that marketing is important, but then also they will allow you to do your job and they know that they can do their job, so yeah. Yep. As soon as possible though.
Sure. Jessica said you're a big networker.
Yes.
But you sort of missed some of that because of the child.
Yeah. So I used to be all about networking and B&Is, and I'd go to the ribbon cuttings. I would never be home. I always loved after hours. I was a little social butterfly. Naturally, I am an introvert, so I forced myself to be an extrovert, right? Extroverted introvert.
Yes.
We've talked about that a lot.
Yes, it
yeah.
is like a thing. And so then COVID happened or whatever, and then I got pregnant, and so then I just kind of quit going out. And to be honest, this month, I have literally put in my schedule 6 different networking things because I'm like, I have to get back out there.
Yeah.
I went a couple of days ago to a luncheon and I felt so awkward. I was like, you are better than this, in my head I'm like, you are better than this, but I'm in the corner hey, I'm just the marketing girl. How's it going? Yeah. I do some signs. Do you want some? You are better than this. And my assistant's with me. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, you're going to start going to these. I'm not okay. I'm not ready for this yet.
It's definitely like a muscle you have to exercise or else you take a couple weeks off, you'll lose it. Come back in and say, I can do this. I've done this a million times. You come in, it's everything just feels so awkward.
Yes.
You try to push the conversation and I'm not really into this. I'm going to walk away now.
Yeah. And I try to be the best I can, the best version of myself there, but I'm not a huge I don't do a lot of sales on myself, and so kind of networking, I like to get to know the other person, and then, oh my gosh, they start asking me questions about me, and I'm like, yeah, I do social media, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
So it's okay, this is awkward, but yeah, it's been fun, and hopefully that networking will be better with me, and,
for sure.
the few weeks down the road, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
So
Get out there.
That brings up an interesting question. I'm just dominating the questions here.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So we both do a lot of networking. That's a good question for a small business. When do you start networking? Obviously immediately, but when do you start investing in the networking? When do you start?
Ghost or studio falling apart? Pick your...
The temperature changes. We have to make some adjustments. So when do you start investing in the networking? When do you start paying the dues to go to a B&I or go to a chamber? Or is that something that you would recommend early on, mid-on? How would you navigate that?
Do you want to answer first?
No, this is a question for you.
We're spotlighting you.
Oh, you're spotlighting me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All about me. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would say at the very beginning to get into those. And honestly, if you have the finances to do marketing in person and referral based before you even hire someone like me, then I would definitely recommend that because your number one marketing source is going to be other people. It's going to be referrals. It's going to be who you know and who they know. You want to tap into those people. So I definitely think that would be your first move marketing-wise is to get into a group like that. That's how I got involved in B&I when I moved up here from Saline County. I was like, well, how do I get into like the Little Rock market. Like nobody knows me up here. I joined a BNI group and made like $3,000 the first 2 weeks I was in there, and I was like, well, this is freaking fun. Okay,
Yeah.
I like making money, you know.
Yeah.
So you make money, but then also those referrals and those people that I knew in that BNI group like 5 years ago are literally still referral partners for me. Like we still refer people back and forth, and I think that that's going to be your first like step as a business owner, is taking the time and doing that. Again, you have to understand the value of your time, and you have to understand that your 2 hours going and coming from that meeting are going to actually benefit you. A lot of people go to these groups and they're there for like 2 weeks and like, I haven't gotten any leads. Well, what have you given to the group? What have you given to the people there? Because if you're not giving something to them, you're not going to get anything in return. And it works with the chambers that way too. People join a chamber and they're like, well, I haven't gotten anything. It's been like 3 months. Well, have you gone to a ribbon cutting? Have you gone to a networking event? You know, have you joined one of their groups? Have you reached out to the new members? You know, so you really, whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it when it comes to network marketing, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You were talking about like the awkwardness of like coming back into it and everything. So I recently, last month, I don't know if we've talked about this, but I've jumped into VR, right? The world of VR.
Oh man.
Okay.
I bought one of the Meta Quest 2. Have you done this yet?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I'm not
Absolutely
that
not.
cool. No, I'm really not.
I'm not that either. I'm just
I mean,
morbidly fascinated with technology. So
Well, I have a 3D skeleton with muscles that I like to take apart, but
that's nice.
Oh no, that's
So
really
you're
cool.
a serial killer, or
no, it's a VR. But I don't
Okay.
I don't go to the VR world. I just go into the, like, let's go take, what is this muscle attached to,
Oh,
and I can
that's
do
nice.
that with it.
That's pretty
It's a good way to
cool.
learn.
Yeah.
So I was, when Zuckerberg put his video out there talking about the metaverse and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, whatever, this will pass through. But then I got that, man, I'm in. Like, it's great. But like you said, I'm an introvert too, so I had to train myself to be an extrovert when it comes to networking. So in the metaverse, like they're called rooms or worlds, and like you just hop around into different worlds. Like there's one I like going to, and it's called a Very British Pub. And it's just a street in London, and you can go in the pub, and like there's a stage where people can go up there and show their talents or sing or whatever, perform.
And these are real people, like doing karaoke on a British
but
pub.
you can also walk up to the bar and actually grab a mug. I mean, you can't taste or drink, but I mean, it's not gonna have any effects. But you can have the
like you're having
the visuals.
experience. Yeah.
But like it was so weird for me at first because going in there, like I went right back to my introvert self because like it was just like
Even like
I don't know
virtual.
any of these people in here.
Yeah.
But I feel, because like everything is 3D and you're completely immersed, and like even though they're just an avatar of the real person, like you hear them having actual conversations with each other and meeting each other. And at first, I was just like sliding around the room, trying not to touch anybody, and then but like last night,
Like I still don't like touching, even like VA.
I
I don't
know,
like
yeah,
touching.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, don't talk to me because this is gonna be really awkward. I don't know. And most of them are from UK, but there's a lot of other people that come in from all over the world. And so like last night, I spent hours in there. We were just talking, and I made friends, and like it was great. We talked
That's
about
so
business
cool.
and
Wow.
world, like the difference between America and UK and stuff, and had fun. And got up there and sang, and it was great. Yeah, like I loved it.
It's like a night out, but in.
But it is.
I like that.
It is.
sounds
I feel like I
rad.
went out and had fun. But like,
Right,
it's so
yeah.
I don't know. I recommend that if you've got an extra cash to throw around, which must be nice,
Yeah. What
if
is
you're
that?
trying to practice, if you're trying to practice your social skills or networking, it's a great place. Nobody can see you. Nobody knows what you look like.
Wow.
Or where you live, or anything. You can be anybody. Just go out, but it gets you in the habit of like being able to
So that-
strike up a conversation and talk and keep it going.
Right.
That was my question: is do you feel like that gave you more skills in the real world,
I
or
believe
or
so.
do you have, or is there a disconnect?
No, I think more than anything because like in Arkansas I can hop around from like I said BNI group to a chamber meeting whatever, and I can usually get people to sort of like me or whatever. I mean I can have a genial conversation with people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, would that actually work outside of Arkansas? I'm not really sure. And then so this like really put it to the test, and I was like, okay, well worldwide, if you're good at talking to people,
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to make friends wherever you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting. I'll have to look into that.
yeah, I mean it's
I
fine.
feel
Just
like
try
I
it
don't
out.
like hangovers, so I feel like this is the best way to like go out without having a hangover.
Well, you don't have to pay for
Yes,
babies.
yeah.
You don't pay for babysitter either.
Oh yeah, you could be holding baby while you're in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Doing shots virtually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so let's look at that a little bit differently. From a marketing standpoint, do you see potential in that being something that businesses would benefit from, like
my gosh.
having a little business there or having a
Yes.
thing?
So I'm an experiment. We're gonna talk about this later on a different
Okay.
episode. because you can create your own worlds.
Okay.
And so I want to make like a business networking room or little world type of thing, and then just try to get that going. Because there's nightclubs, there are, I mean, like, everything you can think of.
Yeah.
Last night there were professional stand-up comedians that were having shows at a comedy club. Like Josh Blue, who was on America's Got Talent and stuff like that. So he was doing a show last night, and I went to go see. It was great. I like it. It's awesome.
That's
Actual
so
performers,
cool.
music performers
Yeah.
go on there and sing. It's crazy. But also, I've got what's called Virtual Desk, and I created for our business. For me and Brittany can jump on to a meeting, but it's like we're in a conference room, and she doesn't even have to have Quest. She just has to have a camera on her computer. And like she can join me, but she'll see my virtual self in there. But like you have your own conference room, you design it any way you want to. Our banner has our logo on the walls, and I've got a whiteboard where I just turn my controller around backwards, and it becomes a marker, and it feels like I'm writing on a whiteboard. I know it's so strange.
That's so cool.
And like I'm taking notes, but also I have my actual screen of my computer in front of me, and I can make multiple monitors and do multiple things at the same time while we're having our meeting. It's crazy what you can do.
So
And that's
my
just like the
next question
beginning.
is,
Right.
Yeah.
can you record that?
Oh yes, I already have. I put the video up for our thing. I'll show it to you
I'm
later.
thinking about because I do continuing education. I'm like, I could make
Yeah.
a class.
You can stream
That would
it.
be
You can
so
record it.
smart.
You can
Yeah.
cut it out. Whatever you want to do.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Whole new world here.
it really is. And so I'm all in on it. I'm
Definitely. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to be checking in with you frequently to find out how that's
excited.
going.
Yeah, I don't know how long. Like we talk about, Arkansas, we're always like 8 years behind everything.
At least.
It's already
But-
already over somewhere else. Yeah.
How long will it take for us to catch up to it? I don't know, but like it's fun right now.
Well, with your guys' business, it doesn't necessarily have to be an Arkansas-based business to be able to tap into what you can do. So, on
Right.
something like that, if someone were to find you in the UK and wanted to have your socials, and they wanted to be more social in the U.S. and needed that perspective, that would, I can see how that could be a global
That'd be super rad.
expansion for you. Hmm.
So this brings up an interesting question for Shelby. Do you have any clients that are outside of Arkansas? Is it
Yes.
state? Okay.
Yes. So I do. Yeah.
How do you approach that? And has them learning that you're from Arkansas been a hindrance or helped you or mattered at all to them?
Yeah, so I'm 100% referral based. Like my business has been for about 3 years now, which I'm very grateful for. And because of that, I have a huge network within the State Farm realm. And so most of my clients that are out of state are actually State Farm agents, ironically. And so they actually don't care that I'm from Arkansas because thank God for technology, like we were just talking about,
Yeah.
right? Zoom meetings, like all of the things. It saves so much time. And they just really want to see a face, and they love what I do for like some local agents here, and they all have their own network like within State
Yeah.
Farm. And I've never had any issues with people being like, "Oh, you're from Arkansas, okay." In fact, most of the northern people just like to make fun of my accent.
I was about to say, do
Yeah.
they identify you immediately when they hear you
Absolutely.
talk?
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, you are from Arkansas," and I'm like, I mean, I didn't judge you, so I'm gonna
right.
need you to take that back. Like, okay, guy, not my fault. I was born and raised here.
To be fair, I married my husband because of his accent.
Oh well, that's cute.
Is it a southern accent?
Yes.
Okay.
Aw.
He said, "Hi, darling," and I'm like, "Yes."
You're my Southern Belle.
Yes, everything. Keep calling me darling. I would probably never date a guy from the north. Probably not. Yeah. I have a few friends from the north, and I'm like, I'm gonna need you to like take a few days off from texting me. Like,
Even
yeah.
texting? I was like, okay,
Sometimes
that's the accent.
texting
You're like, no,
comes
texting.
across, their personalities. Like, listen, I need like a softer blow next time, okay? Like, let's just do it next time.
They're like the Germans, very
We'll work.
harsh.
Yes,
Oh,
very,
are they?
very harsh.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
But it's fun.
So that like
but-
typical New Yorker thing you think of, like, get out of here, that type of thing? That's what we're
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever talk to someone from New York with that accent.
I mean, I can talk to him, but we're going to have to set a timer.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to go decompress in a quiet room.
I went to Boston with a client for a conference, and we're at the mall, and we're looking for Cheesecake Factory because we're from the South, right? Give us Cheesecake Factory. Anyways, we're looking, and I stopped this like young girl and guy. They're in their teens or something. And I was like, "Do you know?" No. I said, "Are you from here?" She looked at me. She was like, "I'm not from the mall." I was like,
That's
whoa.
good.
Was this
Are you
like
from here?
are you
Yeah.
dumb? Or like, is that like just difference between South and North right now? I'm not really sure what this means. I was like,
Right.
I meant like Boston, like, are you familiar? And I was like,
That's
maybe
so
I
good.
worded it wrong. Maybe she said, "Are you familiar
That's
or do you
genius.
know where Cheesecake Factory is?" But then I later found out homeless people actually lived at the mall. And so I'm like, maybe there's just like a disconnect. These teenagers were like, we're not homeless. We're not from here, you know, like, okay, guy, I need you to like chill out. I just want some Cheesecake Factory, okay? That's it. So, yeah.
I went to Boston recently, and interestingly enough, I never met a single person who was from there. Like every restaurant I went to, the servers, or everybody was not from. They were all shipped in.
Wow.
It was really weird.
So did you find your Cheesecake Factory? I mean,
we did find the Cheesecake Factory, and it was like 1 hour till close, and it takes a whole hour just to go through the damn menu, you know? You're okay, cool, yeah, I'll take this, I guess, so that we can get that in the kitchen. But we went there and we went to Wahlburgers, the original Wahlburgers.
Really?
So
yeah,
cool.
It is Boston, right? Yeah.
Yes, Marky Mark was not there, though. You know, I was like really banking on it, but he wasn't there, so sad day.
Did they have like the cardboard cutout of him or anything?
Nothing. And
Nothing?
honestly, the food kind of sucked.
Really? Oh, God.
I was like, okay, listen, guys, I've watched you on TV for years now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like going to need a really great cheeseburger. But
yeah,
it wasn't, I mean, it was kind of like going into like a Burger King.
Yeah. Once you get that level and everything's just sort of like, I don't know, assembly factory. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I went to the one in Vegas too. That one was way more fun because you had like, it was like an open restaurant. So there was no walls and you're on the strip and you can like, you know, watch people.
And I think that also has a lot to do with what we talked about a moment ago, which is the mentality of the people in a Boston area versus the mentality of a person in a Las Vegas area.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's true too. But
you're going to have to put some subtitles up because my voice just kind of went out. I kept talking.
Yeah.
What was that?
Just dips in value. Yeah, I didn't know they had Cheesecake Factory in Boston because like
it was in the mall, so I don't really know if that like.
Okay.
I mean,
it counts.
I mean, it counts. Yeah, it's just one of the chain restaurants.
Sure.
There. Yeah, and half the mall was out of business. You know, kind of like Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know, like all of our malls are halfway out of business at this point.
So most expect like there's stores I've gotten used to in some from Texas, but when we moved here, like there's certain stores you get used to in Arkansas, but then you go like right back next door, right go back home, and then like Kroger doesn't exist there. You know, it's Brookshire's.
Oh.
Which is what we have there everywhere there, but it's basically the same store. It's just completely different name. But if you're looking for that type of, it's just you get thrown off because it's not what you're looking for.
Exactly. I don't know what I would do without Kroger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You go to Berkshire's.
Go to Berkshire's.
I mean, I guess I'd have no choice, right?
Insert name here. Store
insert name here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're actually they're carbon copies, but because of federal trade monopoly type thing laws, they can't actually go past certain areas. They can only have.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you actually go to like a certain state past that, it'll change, and then again, there's actually 3 sections, I think.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you go on the West Coast, it's something that's like
so
ponds or
much
something.
Today.
Just as full of information.
I've definitely known this.
Listen,
Yes, always.
For anything, disassemble bodies, or do you need to franchise your business, or
Sure, I'm in. Yeah.
Go to the doctor, get a clean bill of health, so that's great.
I did. I made sure I actually canceled my call and said yesterday morning. Sent him a text said, "I'm just making sure I'm not contagious. I'm not contagious."
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, before we closed it out, I wanted to talk to you about, of course, we're talking about the new year and everything about the resolutions and everything, but like in a long-term plan, I think you said you've been in marketing for over 10 years.
Yeah.
What's the overall goal? What is your overall goal with your business? How big do you want to make this?
I mean, that's a really good question. So I originally started my business thinking, I'm going to do all this myself. I want to keep it small. I want to help like just a little boutique business. Well, now it definitely is not that. And I am more in the role of CEO versus actually working in my business. And I'm almost living out my long-term plan now, which is really great and like the dream of all entrepreneurs. So long-term is going to be me like checking the bank account on my vacation at the beach. Right?
Okay.
That's long-term goal for me, and making sure all my team is set in place and, growing as they can.
Okay. So you have employees already?
I do, yes. I have like social media, content creators. I've got my sign installers, and I have an amazing assistant. So she takes care of a lot of our onboarding process.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
All right. You're already living the dream, so.
I mean, I live my dream every day, I'm not like a huge, let's talk about 5 years down the road. I like to live now and make the best of everything now and then build on that.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
I've found that anytime I make a 5-year plan, something happens like COVID. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, that's not happening.
Yeah. Just kidding.
With your child, and I know she's only 2 right now, but in the future, do you see yourself being teaching her the skills of what you do for your work?
Yeah, so I grew up, my dad is an entrepreneur. He actually owns an advertising agency, and so I guess you can say it runs in the blood. And he kind of shoved it kind of down my throat a little bit, so I kind of rebelled for a few years. And then now I just, as a mom, I think I'm just going to give her all the tools that she needs to, like, figure out who she is. Because I think it's so important for us not to make our children, like, feel like you have to do this, you have to do that.
Sure.
You know, like, if you're not going to be a doctor, then you're not my kid, you know, or something, you know. And so it's like, now it's really cool watching her develop. She's very creative. But then also, like, her dad is super analytical, and he's, like, you know, a math nerd type person, opposite of me. And I'm like, okay, well, she could go both ways, or she could have a really great combination of both of us. So we'll see how that works out. But really just trying to give her the tools now, and then just kind of see how she figures out, you know, as she goes. And just help her along the way, but then also not allow her to, like, quit anything, you know, because there's always those values you have to instill. But I've never been a mom before, so this is going to be a really fun experience.
Well, congrats on that.
So if anyone wants to learn more about you or get in touch with you or possibly get your services, how do they contact you?
You can just find me on social media at Shelby and Company INC, or my personal Instagram, bossbabe_Shelby.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, well, thank you for being here.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. And if you are an audio listener, of course, you can find our video on YouTube. You'll have to search for the Healthy Business Podcast. We don't have our official URL. You know what I mean? Eventually, we'll get there. We'll have a wrapped 1 year for YouTube, and it'll tell us, you know, hey, you got so many watchers and listeners out there. Yeah. Most people actually just listen to the episodes, and so like I do a lot of video content, which is bad. Because I'm sure a lot of people are just sitting there like, what is going on? There's just silence. Like I was showing you those things earlier. You know what I mean? Anyway. If you're a video watcher, you can also find us on all the audio platforms for Podbean, for iTunes, for Google, everywhere that you can find any of your podcasting shows. And also we're on social media from Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, trying to remember all the things. We also have a Patreon, so it is patreon.com/The Healthy Business Podcast, and you can help subscribe at different tiers. Help us. Look, we're still in Halloween cups right here. Not that that's a bad thing. We love Halloween.
Cups, guys.
We need new cups, right?
Subscribe.
Exactly.
Well, we actually have a thing. If you provide us one of your branded cups, we'll give you a plug.
Oh.
That's right. We'll drink from your cup on the show. Yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
So if you want to continue showing up on our show without having to be here, give us a mug.
Absolutely.
There it is. No pressure.
No pressure.
Anyways, Shelby, thank you for being here and
you.
for talking to us about all this. And we learned a lot. And Jessica's taught us a lot as always. Hoarse voice and all. Yep. Okay. She's just like, I'm not talking anymore. Anything else to say?
No.
No? All right.
I've hit my limit for sound.
Oh, I hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
Broken voice. Okay. Well, don't say bye, but Jessica says bye. Shelby,
Bye.
you want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye. Keep your business healthy.